Welcome back to another Reptile Jones video, and it's the beginning of the month, so it's time for a collection update. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay, so we're gonna start things off a little differently. Normally, I save this big girl for last, but believe it or not, some people ask me, do you even have boas? Apparently they don't watch till the end, so we're going to start this girl off with the beginning to make sure she gets seen and everybody knows that I have this great big old beautiful yellow snake in my collection. She doesn't really have a name per se, I just simply call her, she's the only boa I have, so she's the big girl. Definitely a pretty friendly snake for the most part. Never really had any true aggressions as far as trying to bite. Now I have opened up her tub and startled her, and she has let out a pretty good loud hiss, but she's never tried to actually bite me or show any signs of aggression in that manner. But yeah, definitely one of my favorites in the collection, and of course she is the biggest girl here, biggest reptile I have here in the family, so I thought I'd share her first, so that way, to ensure everybody who watches this video definitely gets to see this big girl. So let's put her away and move on to the next. Okay, so next up is this big guy here. Now he is one of the longest snakes here. He's just about, I think him and the boa are about the same length, or at least very close. But she also is a lot girthier than what this dude is here. And of course, this is my northern pine snake. My wife and kids refer to him as Oreo, so we kind of just stick with that as his name. But definitely a fun, interesting snake to have. I'm sure the mic will pick it up. He does hiss, but it's not really an aggression. More of just like, hey, I'm here, don't step on me, don't hurt me, sort of thing. Just letting me know, even though I'm holding him, he still thinks that he needs to hiss. But again, another one that's never shown me any kind of true aggression. Definitely has a strong feeding response, but we're okay with that. So that is Oreo, the northern pine snake, and he is, if we can't, he's got some size to him. He actually might be a little bit longer than the boa. I'm not for sure. So let's put him back and let's move on to the next reptile. So the next reptile is another big yellow snake, and that is my albino ball python. And those of you who have been on the channel for some time, you know that I've had this girl for quite some time. I'm thinking like 10 or 11 years. So, and she's definitely a long time reptile here on the channel, obviously. And as you've seen in earlier videos, we're not going to hold her long because she was mating, and they have since has stopped. So, hopefully we'll eventually get some good viable eggs from her, and produce some nice little babies here at the beginning of next year sometime. So I don't want to keep her out, I don't want to stress her, so let's put her back and move on to the next, because we have a lot of snakes to get to. Okay, so up next is this little ball python that I have here, and of course this is the male that was breeding to that albino female you just seen. So I wasn't for sure if he was actually going to want to do the job this year, but I thought, well, what the heck, I'll give it a try. So as you've seen in that other video, they did lock up, so we'll see if he's actually big enough to actually help out with fertilizing those eggs. So we'll find that out in a future video, but for now, this is this guy here, and he is a citrus pastel low expression calico, 100% het for albino, or not albino, clown. 100% het for clown, not albino. And you can kind of see some of his calico markings there on the side. Again, he's low expression, so it's it's going to be a little tricky to try to pick up on camera. Perhaps I can do a video later giving you more detail on this guy if you like. Just comment down below on that. So let's put this guy away. He is a little bit more shy and timid when it comes to being handled. I don't know if we can, right? No, it's, but yeah, there's some of his markings there, but we'll put him away. Let's move on to the next reptile. Okay, so up next is my Sinaloan milk snake. This here is the male, and I do have a female that looks pretty similar to this fella here. We're not going to pull her out this video because she is deep in shed. She is blue as can be. So we're just going to leave her be so we don't stress her out. But anyways, this is a Sinaloan milk snake. And these guys are pretty much close to size to being bred, so hopefully in the springtime we'll see if we can't produce some more babies of these, because I've said it before and I'll keep saying it, I absolutely love this color. The camera is just picking it up very beautifully, and I just can't wait for the day that I hatch about 15 to 20 eggs of this color just crawling out. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait for that day. So and I think it's coming real soon. But so that is one of the milk snakes I do own, Sinaloan milk snake. Okay, so if you have been on the channel for very long, you know that I'm very biased toward corn snakes. They are one of my favorite little colubrids, and this is one of my prized corn snakes in the group, and this is a hypo lavender striped corn snake female who will, fingers crossed, produce us some babies next spring as well. But this is one that I hatched here many years ago, and so I'm excited to finally continue this bloodline on with more babies from her. So she is one of a few corn snakes I have. So let's put her away and let's go to the male that she will be paired with. Okay, so this is the male that she will be paired with in the spring, and this fella here is a hypo striped. 50% possible het for the lavender gene, so we're essentially going to breed these two together to try to prove out whether or not he has the lavender gene. And fingers crossed he does, but even if he doesn't, the babies we will produce, all babies will be hypo-striped from this pairing, because both mom and dad are hypo-striped. So worst case scenario, we get a whole bunch of hypo-striped babies, 100% het for lavender, or we get a mixture of the two. But yeah, very beautiful snake, and I can't wait to see what babies are gonna be come from this pairing. So here is another milk snake in the collection, and this here is a albino Nelson's milk snake. This here is the T negative. I will show you what a T positive looks like here next, but again, this is another one of those snakes. I just absolutely love this color. Camera's doing beautifully as far as picking it up. Easy, he's a little bit of a spaz, but that's the way milks are sometimes. There we go. Come on, camera, focus on the snake. There we go. Again, this is another one where I can't wait just to see, a whole clutch of eggs just hatching out with either this color or the T positive that I also own. So Nelson's milk snake albino T negative. So here is the T positive albino Nelson's milk snake, and I just love the colors on this little girl here. Very striking, a little different from the T negatives, and if I understand the genetics correctly, when I breed this female with that previous male, the clutch should be split up between T positives and T negatives, but only one way to truly know, and that's to breed them. But that's going to be a while. This is a baby. She's going to need to be about 3 to 4 years old before that, we can even consider that stuff. So we got plenty of time, but until then, we're just gonna watch her grow up and just watch, the colors just develop on this beautiful little snake. Definitely a favorite in the collection, but I'm probably gonna say that a lot. Okay, so here is another favorite of the group, and I think it's a channel favorite as well. And of course, this is the Scaleless Texas rat snake. This is just one of those snakes that I really didn't think I would like. I kind of purchased it for the educational program that I do, just to kind of give the general public that are non-reptile people just an idea of what's of what this mutation looks like. I mean, because how many people, not very many people are around snakes, but to find one that has no scales, so I purchased one simply for that. And to be completely honest, I actually fell in love with this mutation. Once you're around them and you realize that everything about this snake, everything she does and everything is just like ones with scales. There is literally no difference, no hindrance, nothing like that. She moves and does everything as if she has scales. So definitely pleased by that. It's just one of those things, that you just kind of learn by experience. So definitely a fun snake. Definitely for real has become one of the favorites in the group for me. And of course, this is a female, and I was lucky enough to find a nice special male for her in the springtime. So let's go ahead and are you gonna come around? She's gonna chill. So let's go ahead and put her away, and then let's get him, and then we'll talk about what's going to happen. Okay, so this is the male Texas rat snake that I own. And as you can see, he is all white. First thought you'd probably think is leucistic, because that is a very popular white snake, especially when it comes to the Texas rat snakes. But this is not leucistic. This is a snow Texas rat. So we've got two genes working here to create this white snake. Of course, you can tell that it's not leucistic by that red pinkish eye. The leucistic is going to have a dark pigmented eye. More times than not, it's blue. But the reason I chose this male as opposed to a leucistic is because of the genes that are involved in making this guy. So when he breeds to that scaleless Texas rat, unless he's carrying the scaleless gene, which I doubt, all of the babies are going to be normal babies, but they're going to carry scaleless, they're going to carry albino, and then they're going to carry the antheristic. I'll keep some of those babies back. We'll breed them back. So in about 2 generations, we will have a nice group of babies that are just going to be a variety of stuff. And of course, the high one will be a snow scaleless Texas rats, but we're going to make all kinds of stuff in between. So, and he does bite a little bit. He isn't really fully trusting of me just yet, but no worries. As you can see, it was not a true aggression. He just kind of, I scared him a bit. So we don't really have much to work on with him to get him to not do that, but he's already pretty much there. So, you just got to take your time with them, and you just got to earn their trust. Prove to them that you're not going to hurt them. And then you will have a perfectly friendly pet snake. And eventually he will get there. Because we're already almost there, aren't we, fella? So, I don't think I recalled saying what his name was. And because he has a little bit of a spitfire attitude, we are calling him Frostbite. He is a snow. He kind of is a little bit nippy. So I thought Frostbite would be a perfect name for this fella. So let's go ahead and put him back so we don't stress him out too much. And let's move on to the next reptile. So another corn snake in the collection is this little young male here. And this is a Buckskin Okatee, and this snake is actually my daughter's snake, but we keep it here in the reptile room because we keep all the reptiles in the reptile room. So a very nice example of the Buckskin Okatees. We got some nice thick heavy borders around the saddles, which is key for Okeetees. Without that, they are not Okeetees. They are just normal corns at that point. But very beautiful snake. Obviously, you can see he's very, very calm, very handleable, and he is just a nice little pet snake for my daughter to to have of her own and to kind of learn and take care of herself. So nice little buckskin. So let's put him back and move on to the next reptile. Okay, so here are the babies that I've recently picked up, and these guys are a little bit harder to film and hold, so I'm just going to simply bring you to their little tubs and we're going to take a look at what we got going on here. Of course, this is my very beautiful little it is an A-male tessera corn snake. I'm gonna say that it's probably gonna end up being a candy cane, as strikingly white and red that this snake is exhibiting each shed cycle. So definitely a favorite of my collection. And let's push that one back and move on to this one here. This one is a little bit going to be a little bit harder to see. This is a butter tessera, and he's blending in quite well with his substrate, but as he ages, or she, excuse me, hopefully we're going to get some nice, really yellow to this snake. Yellow is a slow color to develop on corn snakes, so we won't really know this animal's true potential until it gets to adult size. So definitely going to be an interesting one to see. Of course, next to that is the T positive. Oh, we got some potty in there, but the T positive Nelson's milk, and we'll get that cleaned up in a minute. But looking very stunning in his tub here. And above him is one of two Miami corn snakes. Let's try to get this into some better light. One of two Miami corns that I own. This is another one that is going to take some time before we see the true potential, and right next to that is the other Miami corn snake. Let's let it get focused. So I'm excited to see how those guys develop. And next to them is this little girl here, which is extremely camera shy. This is a new one to the collection as of only about 2 weeks. This is a lavender stripe female, so eventually this will be paired with that hypo-striped male that you've seen earlier. So that way we can make sure we have nice new blood into this line that I'm working with, or the morphs I'm working with. And of course above her is this snake here, who is always hungry, and of course that means it has to be a king snake. Let's get up here above. She's gonna come to the camera. That's okay. So this here is a lavender striped albino California king snake. If it will focus, come on, focus. No, we're not feeding. Back up, back up. No, back up. So that is her. Clearly she wants to eat. Nope, back up. Wrong way. So we're gonna put this away before she gets away. It's a little harder to film this one, or manage these one-handed. Next to her is another California king snake, and this one is a black and yellow California king snake. This is a little female as well. Definitely let's see if we can get her down here. There we go. That's a good photo. So yeah, that's black and yellow California king snake. Nice little girl. So we'll put her back, excuse me. And of course this one here is one of my favorites. Let's move that out of the way. We'll have to clean that up in a minute. So this here is the Florida king snake. This is a white-sided. We'll give it a minute to try to focus. This one's a favorite of mine as well. I've always wanted to work with these, and so when I finally found one, I definitely had to pick it up, and definitely going to be a real stunner of a snake when she gets to be full grown, because what is her pink sides now will be white when she is full grown, and she's going to get to a pretty good size too. She's going to be a good sized colubrid. So that is the Florida white-sided king snake, and that is everybody we have here on the shelf. So we're going to pan down here. We've got the tortoises. That's the female there making a mess out of her water dish, and the male is hiding in the substrate. And if you are a subscriber, you would have seen just a short while ago I thought that she was going to lay some eggs, and it doesn't appear that she is going to, but I'll talk about that in an update video all of its own. So from there, of course, this is the rack that houses all the colubrids we've already seen, and now we're going to come over here to my leopard gecko, who is surprisingly out just snoozing. Here we go, focus. Focus. Come on. There we go. And she's even smiling. So this is the leopard gecko, the only one that I actually own. And she's just a good, fun family pet to have. And, you know, I know her color is pretty much wild colors. She's hypo, but I mean, for the most part, she's pretty much wild colors. And actually, I like that on her. I like, as far as leopard geckos go, I'd like just that simple black and yellow coloration that they come in. And her cage is actually still set up in the Halloween decor, which we are going to be redoing this here shortly, and we're going to change up her enclosure. But for now, this is the way it is, and she doesn't seem to mind. Look at that, she's got a smile. She must be dreaming happy dreams. So let's move on. I got just a couple more reptiles to show you. So this is my giant day gecko, giant Madagascar day gecko, and he is extremely shy to the camera, to just people in general, so this is probably the best we're going to get to see him. He's actually hiding on the back side of that log just to try to stay out of sight. So that is him. So I really can't show you his red spots, but you can see that he's got red there on his face, and if I try to go in there and coax him out more into the open, he is going to run and hide inside one of his cork tubes, and then we definitely won't be seeing him at all. So this is just going to be just a little short clip, and if you check out the feeding videos, you can actually watch him come and take mealworms from the hemostats right there in that very position. So if you want to see more of him, go check out that video. So let's go ahead and close this. Okay, so this is the legless lizard's enclosure, and he is hiding somewhere amongst all this, what I just like to call as a log jam. Yeah, he definitely likes to climb in and out of this stuff. So I'm not sure exactly where he's at, and I don't really like to just go in there and force him out of his home. A lot of times he has his pre-made tunnels, but I will insert a little feeding clip here, so that way you guys can see him. Here is my jungle carpet python. He thinks it's feeding time, so he is already poised to strike. We don't have food, so we're not really gonna mess with him too much, but feeding is later on today. We're not gonna, he's ready to eat, and I don't want to disturb him. We're working on friendly relationships here with him, and you know, I got to the point now where he doesn't really bite. So I just kind of want to keep our interactions positive, and so if I go in there right now, he thinks it's dinner time, which I don't blame him, and we might end up, you know, ending on bad terms, and we don't want to do that. but we can see him anyways. His light in this cage is actually gone out, so it's a little darker in here than what I would like, but he doesn't mind. He seems to be fine with it. So let's move on to the next reptile. Okay, so I'm saving this clip for the very end of the video for the subscribers who truly stick around to the very end. And if you're not a relatively new subscriber, you know that I had a Savannah monitor and that he escaped on me back in like September. Well, I'm pleased to report, and I'll do a full video on this in the near future when I get a little bit more time. But I did find him. I did come home and found him one night. Of course, he's slowly getting his energy back, but he'd been gone for like 2.5, 3 months, so he definitely lost some weight. Trying to show you guys without him jumping. So he has lost some weight, but he's doing good. He's feeding pretty good. He is drinking. I've actually included giving him a Pinky Mouse like every 3rd or 4th day, just to help build back his his energy and just gaining back all that he's lost. Of course, we're feeding him his regular diet of the Repashy grub pie, and we're giving him insects, dusted with the calcium and the minerals and whatnot. So we're getting him back to strength, and he's actually slowly, progressively getting better. He seems to have a little bit more energy, where he's a little bit more of a wiggler. As you've seen, he just about jumped out of my hand. Whereas before, I would not be able to hold him like this, because he would definitely have ran already. But he isn't too sure about this camera. He's actually trying to flatten out and be as flat to my hand as possible. So we're not going to stress this guy out any longer than need to, because I just wanted to give you guys to stick to the very end. I wanted to give you guys a little something special and let you guys know that he has been found, and for the most part he seems to be doing all right. Of course, we're not 100% back to where I'd like him to be, but we're going to get there, and he's going to do all right. So I'm definitely pleased to be able to report this back to you guys. And yeah, so I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking to the very end. And till next time, later.
Shut up and sit down.